Yeah, back on the SportsMax Zone, and we are in the final third of the show. Reigning Australian Open champion Novak Djokovic, who has stubbornly refused to disclose his vaccination status, will get the opportunity to defend his title this year after being granted a medical exemption. The world number one broke the news on Twitter. Here's what he said. Happy New Year. Wishing you all health, love and joy in every moment. And may you feel love and respect towards all beings on this wonderful planet. Spent fantastic quality time with loved ones over break. And today I'm heading down under with an exemption permission. Let's go 2022. The organisers subsequently confirmed Djokovic had received a medical exemption. There was a rigorous review process, they said, involving two separate independent panels of medical experts. One of those, the Independent Medical Exemption Review Panel, appointed by the Victorian Department of Health. They assessed all applications to see if they met the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation guidelines. The applications were reviewed and approved only in line with the ATAGI guidelines, the ATAGI, the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation. Meanwhile, the former world number 54, Natalia Viklentseva, is unable to travel to Australia and is ineligible to play in the Open because her COVID-19 vaccine, the Russian Sputnik 5, is not recognized by local health authorities. Now, George, there is a Jamaican proverb that goes, donkey said the world not level. Does it apply in this situation?
Tempting to say yes, Lance, and I can understand the upset that many people have taken on by how this story has been reported and how it has materialized. But when you look at the rigor with which the Australians attended to Djokovic's exemption application, I think we can safely say that he hasn't bought his way in, or he hasn't been let in on a whim and a prayer, and that it is down to the science. I suspected that this was on the cards because guess what? He has had ample time to say that he's not taking the COVID vaccine, hence he will not be at the Australia Open, but he has kept his mouth shut. He's just said that, we will see what we will see. It's as much as he would say. So I said to myself,
something is happening behind the scenes.
Something is happening behind the scenes. And
yeah.
Here it is. So when I listened to Russell Fuller earlier this morning. He was doing an interview
a BBC reporter.
From his home on the BBC World Service. And he was talking about the various levels that this has gone through and how it is not a case where Djokovic's doctors have issued him with a certificate to say, submit this to the Australians, and they get it and they say, oh, is it an exemption certificate from your doctor? All right, you are in. No. Djokovic's doctors have made a claim as why he should get a medical examination. The Australian Open have asked their experts to look at Djokovic's medical history to see if what is reported by his doctors is consistent with what the report about the medical exemption request is saying. They did that. Then they said, okay, this is good. Then it went to another panel who examined all of the information available to see, all right, does this really warrant a medical examination on the grounds requested? And they felt yes. So it was, they say you have an iPhone, you're an iPhone user, so they have two-factor authentication. Your thumbprint and maybe your retina scan or a passcode.
Yes.
Djokovic's application went through something like that. So it was multi-layered, so I'm confident it was done by the book. But the Australian Open Lance were desperate for their biggest star. No Federer, Nadal in doubt. Their biggest star. I think there was a little bit of leeway for their biggest star. Even as I said, I think it was above board.
Yeah, Natalia Viklentseva,
yes.
As we just mentioned, is ineligible to compete because the COVID-19 vaccine that she took,
Sputnik 5.
Yeah, Sputnik 5 is not highly regarded. Yes. So in her neck of the woods, Russia, where she lives, she did what she was supposed to do, and she isn't eligible for the Australian Open. Does she feel aggrieved? Given what has happened with Djokovic, I understand what you just said, and we know that Djokovic went through an exhaustive process, but I would think reasonable that the Russian would feel aggrieved.
Here's why she shouldn't feel aggrieved.
Should not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Her management is stupid.
Well, she'll be aggrieved with her management then.
Exactly, right. Okay. But not with the Australian Open organization. Because guess what?
Yes.
I bet you if it was Djokovic would not have taken And regardless of the basis for discrimination, I'm not here to defend the basis.
Yes.
It's just discrimination.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have taken the Cuban vaccine. They wouldn't have taken the Russian vaccine or vaccine made in some far-flung parts of Eastern Europe.
Yes.
Right? Your management should have known, Lance. Her management should have known. Fly her to the United States. Fly her to anywhere in Europe. Take the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in Europe. Fly her to the United States. Take the Pfizer vaccine, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Fly her to Jamaica and take the AstraZeneca vaccine or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and she'll be fine. But you give her the Sputnik vaccine. No, maybe as a Russian, the Russian authorities are saying, no, you're a Russian, you have to take the Russian vaccine, and she was mandated to, and she had no choice,
yes.
Hence her being in this pickle.
Yes.
But it is that the Sputnik 5 vaccine is looked on as a lesser vaccine than the ones that are popular around the world, and it is always going to not be accepted. In fact, I suspect if she wants to fly to the United States, and of course you have to provide your vaccine passport, they'll not admit her into the country with Sputnik 5 on it.
Yes.
They won't.
Yeah. Well, I understand her disappointment, and everyone is getting excited about the Australian Open because of the decline, of course, of Roger Federer, who is your favorite player, and Rafa Nadal not being the force of yesteryear.
And he had COVID too.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Yes,
yeah.
but he is in Melbourne getting ready.
Yeah.
Getting ready.
Yeah.
We saw
I said he
that
had COVID.
Yes.
Had COVID.
Yeah. Mr. Djokovic has the opportunity to move ahead of Federer and Rafa now with 21 Grand Slam wins. And I think, as you just pointed out or alluded to, I think the Australian Open organisers are embracing the fact or the thought of him achieving that at this Grand Slam.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when your friends in Barbados are playing their football tournament in September, is it in September?
May. Whitsuntide weekend.
Yeah, then it's not the same if Lance Whitaker isn't there. So if they have to pull strings to ensure that you are there and husband the process so that you are above board with your applications and your waivers and so forth. Whitaker, come on. They have to have their biggest star there. So
husband the process.
They have to husband the process.
Husbands is in Barbados at the moment.
Well, there you go, pun intended.
Yeah, he's having his winter holiday, trying to decide whether he'll continue his riding career or not.
He should continue.
I think he should.
Still at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break time.